Imagine this scenario. Tensions in the South China Sea escalate and shots are exchanged between the US and China. Suddenly, a Chinese drone mothership takes off, unleashing a swarm of dozens of deadly UVs that streak towards a US military base on the first island chain. Air raid sirens blare and US air defense forces scramble into action. But instead of the skies being filled with anti-drone missiles and gunfire, the base simply fires off a handful of its own UVs. It seems like an utterly inadequate response. How could these few drones possibly contend with a massive approaching swarm? Yet as the US drones draw near, the Chinese drones begin to fall from the sky, disabled and completely useless. Chinese commanders watch in shock as their swarm is defeated, and then USG-guided missiles begin streaking towards their hastily retreating mothership. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but this is all too real. The US has successfully tested and is now deploying a groundbreaking anti-drone system that can literally knock enemy drones out of the sky without firing a single shot or even ramming them directly. This is the Coyote Block 3 NK. Let's get the inside scoop on this innovative futuristic weapon and explore how it could prove decisive in any future clash involving the US, China, Russia, or Iran. Footage released from U.S. Army tests at the Yuma Proving Grounds in Arizona in early 2026 shows the Coyote Block 3K, which stands for non-kinetic, zapping a swarm of drones right out of the sky. These tests, part of what's known as the Low, Slow, Small, Unmanned Aircraft Integrated Defeat System, or LIDS, were designed to validate the latest Coyote variant under intense drone saturation attacks. Around 10 drones approached from various directions, challenging the supporting radar's Ku radio frequency sensor to track them and testing the Coyote's ability to lock on, make decisions, and engage. Based on the footage provided by its manufacturer, Rathon, the tests were a resounding success. In the video, the incoming drones simply tumble from the sky as they come into proximity with the Coyote. Not a single one escapes. And here's the cherry on top. Once its mission is complete, the Coyote is guided into a large net where it can be recovered, intact, and reused. These tests indicate that the Coyote Block 3 and K drones are likely ready for deployment, if they haven't been already. This brings to fruition a process that began in earnest half a decade ago. In February 2021, the U.S. Defense Department, which President Donald Trump had recently redubbed the Department of War, announced a $33 million contract award to Rathon. The goal was to develop a Coyote Block 3 autonomous strike capability supporting the Navy's Future Advanced Strike or FAST initiative. This included work to achieve operational launch capability from unmanned surface vessels USVS and unmanned underwater vessels UVs with an expected completion date of February 2024. Substantial progress was clearly made because in April 2022, the Defense Department announced a $10 million modification to that contract. This modification was specifically for designing, building, and integrating the Coyote Block 3 launch tube assembly into a UV. The contract also required Rathon to procure and deliver the air systems needed for the UV demonstration and to provide extensive systems engineering, integration, and test support. This work also encompassed high-volume, long-range precision strike capabilities from USVs and fires. Rathon was further tasked with providing field support personnel, test readiness, safety coordination, program management, and optional integration of government-furnished equipment for forward payloads and tests, all expected by the end of November 2023. Then in May 2023, Rathon received another cost-plus fixed-fee contract worth up to $147 million to complete these modifications, with the work now slated for completion by Christmas Day 2024. Now, the Coyotes in the footage from the latest tests were shown being fired from ground-based launchers. More on those in a minute. So it's not yet clear if they've been tested or deployed on the Navy's UVs or UVs. But the timing of this latest test and its success is poignant, not just for its military implications, but also for Donald Trump and the shareholders of Ardex Corporation, Rathon's holding company. In January 2026, Trump issued an executive order threatening to restrict dividends and stock buybacks of U.S. defense contractors unless they improved delivery performance. The Pentagon subsequently announced comprehensive performance evaluations of its contractors with RTX Corporation, named as one of the main companies being targeted, along with other major defense firms like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. RTX Corporation is thus under pressure to increase weapon production while maintaining investor returns, which in recent years have been, to say the least, extremely lucrative. The RTX share price may have fallen by almost 1% in the weeks following Trump's announcement, but it's still up over 60% compared to a year ago and an incredible 175% compared to 5 years ago. So successfully delivering the Coyote Block 3 and K, even if these tests come more than a year past the expected delivery date, should go a long way to offset Raytheon's other recent high-profile delivery delays with AGM, 154C Joint Standoff Weapon Glide Bombs and SM-6 missiles. And that should keep both Trump and investors happy, especially when you consider the sheer military potential. That's because right now the Coyote 3 is a truly unique weapon with capabilities and use cases that set it apart from anything else in its class. And showcasing the most interesting and consequential new weapon systems is exactly what we specialize in here at the Military Show, along with cutting-edge reporting and analysis of the latest military developments in all the major hotspots on the planet. So make sure to subscribe to the channel for the inside scoop on what's really going on in global military affairs. As its name suggests, the Coyote Block 3 is the third evolution of the Coyote platform. Both previous iterations, Coyote Block 1 and Block 2, are already in use with the U.S. military, underscoring just how highly the platform is regarded. The original Block 1 was the result of a 2004 U.S. Navy Office of Naval Research ONR specification for a Sonoy Launch Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, or SLUV. This was designed to be an expendable vehicle stored in and launched from a standard airborne sauna dispenser, with its primary mission to provide P-3C Orion patrol aircraft with standoff surveillance capability. Advanced Ceramics Research Incorporated, which was later acquired by Raytheon, was awarded the contract and delivered the Coyote with its maiden flight in 2007. The Coyote comes packed in a canister, which can be launched either from ships with standard Sonoy dispensers or from the ground using a pneumatic tube launcher. Once ejected, a parachute deploys, drawing the canister away from the airframe. Then the UV's two pairs of wings, twin vertical tails, and propeller blades extend. A small electric motor starts, and the autopilot initiates a pull-up maneuver. The Coyote also features a GPS-based navigation system for fully automatic missions, but it can also be controlled via a line-of-sight data link. While its initial and current primary usage is for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, ISR, it can also be equipped with a kinetic warhead and converted into a loitering munition. What's more, Raytheon has successfully demonstrated the Coyote's swarming capabilities as part of ONR's low-cost UV swarming technology, or LOCUST program, where several UVs operate together autonomously as a team. This capability also extends to the Block 2 and Block 3 variants. As an aside, whoever is inside the U.S. Navy, and particularly the ONR, who devises the names for these programs, they don't get the credit they deserve. LOCUST, as a name for a drone swarm, where the acronym fits the word so precisely, is sensational work by the designation department. But be that as it may, while the Coyote's ability to swarm made it a contender for the LOCUST program, its relatively slow speed put it at a disadvantage, especially when quick engagement of fast-moving incoming adversary drones is needed. With a length of 3 feet, a wingspan of just under 5T, and a weight of 13 lbs without a warhead, it's a good size for a canister-launch UAV. Its 30,000 FT ceiling and 80-mile link range make it very useful for ISR across an extended area. However, its maximum speed of 80 mph and cruising speed of 63 mph are simply not fast enough to effectively take on, say, a Russian Garand drone. Nonetheless, the Coyote Block 1, or rather the upgraded Block 1B, became a key component of the U.S. Army's Howard-Cuse counter-unmanned aerial system operational since 2019. The Army procured thousands of them for use in its Mobile Low-Slow Small Unmanned Aircraft Integrated Defeat System, or LIDS, and Fixed-Sight LIDS SLIDS. The U.S. Marine Corps also began using the Block 1B as part of its Ground-Based Air Defense, or GBA Counter-UV Defense System, in 2018. However, in the meantime, no doubt inspired in part by experiences from the war in Ukraine, Raytheon developed a jet-powered derivative called the Coyote Block 2. Unlike the original, which is intended for ISR missions and has a loitering munition variant, Block 2 is an interceptor drone, effectively an anti-drone surface-to-air guided missile. It uses a rocket-assisted launch and is powered in flight by a small turbojet engine. Instead of flip-out wings, it uses strikes on the body and 4 flip-out fins for lift and maneuverability. The tungsten fragmentation warhead is optimized for use against small drones, which it can engage at a range of up to 9 miles with a re-attack capability in case the target evades a hit on the first try. Moreover, with a speed of 345 mAh, it's rapid enough to intercept most large incoming drones. As a result, the U.S. Army has upgraded its MIDS and SLID systems to use Block 2 and Block 3 Coyotes instead. In December 2023, the Army revealed plans to purchase 6,000 Block 2S and 700 Block 3S, along with 252 fixed launchers, 52 mobile launchers, 118 fixed coup radars, and 33 mobile radars. Raytheon was also contracted to provide support for the maintenance and repair of at least 15 Coyote systems, both in the U.S. and at unspecified forward-deployed locations around the world. The current MIDS configuration consists of a 4-4 MTV-stint vehicle with a turret armed with a 2-round Coyote launcher alongside a 30mm XM 9-1-tier automatic cannon. The turret has electro-optical sensors to help spot and track incoming drones, as well as a mass-mounted coup radar to cue the Coyotes. The complete lid system also includes a second MTV vehicle equipped with additional sensors and electronic warfare capabilities. SLIDS, on the other hand, is a 2-part palletized system with the first pilot containing a foreground Coyote launcher and a sensor array, and the second, a coup radar. The COOP radio frequency system, or COO's radar, is larger and more capable than the COO 720 radar used in the MIDS configuration. While both share common software and architecture, the C720 quadrant arrays are a quarter the size of the CURFS arrays, providing a scaled radar for mobile needs. In addition to these primarily ground-based use cases for the Army, the Coyote 2's original mission profile of naval anti-drone defense is still in play. In March 2025, the U.S. Navy announced its intention to equip some Arleigh Burke-class destroyers with Coyote Block 2s, together with Anduril's Roadrunner M, another promising innovative interceptor drone. This should give the ships a more cost-effective defense option against low and medium-performance attack drones than full-size surface-to-air missiles. Block 2s are estimated to cost around $100,000 each, a small fraction of the cost of the U.S. Navy's surface-to-air missiles. By comparison, as of 2020, the Navy's SM-3B Block 3A cost in excess of $36 million each, with a Block IB version costing almost $12 million. The SM-6 costs $4.3 million. SM-2s cost between $120 and $2.3 million, depending on the variant. The Evolved Sea Sparrow missile, or ESSM, costs around $1.8 million. Even the least pricey arrow in the Navy's quiver, the Rolling Airframe Missile, or RAM, comes in at around $95,000. While it's unclear how much the Coyote Block 3 costs, that $100,000 price tag makes the Block 2S much more cost-effective than missiles against Iranian Shahed 136 and the derivative Russian Garin 2 drones, which cost anywhere from $20,000 to $80,000 each. The newer jet-powered Garin 3Es cost $100,000 to $150,000, making the Coyote pretty much a like-for-like countermeasure in terms of cost. However, there's still a significant price mismatch when it comes to China's range of loitering munitions. The Delta Wing gasoline-powered Phylong 300D only costs around $10,000 per unit, while the Shenzhen Skywing, which is essentially a clone of the USO's Switchblade 300-600, costs around $13,000 per unit, excluding the warhead and ground control system. The more advanced Smart EG guided Sunflower 200 is likely more pricey given its advanced guidance, but it still costs significantly less than $100,000. While a successful interception of one of these drones by a Coyote Block 2 would prevent the cost of the damage caused if it hit its target, there's still a 5 to 10 times price differential between the interceptor and its target. And that's where the Block 3 and K could make all the difference, especially against drone swarms launched on the aforementioned drone mothership or China's light vehicle-mounted swarm launchers. Most of the specifications are classified, but from the available footage, it's clear that the Block 3 and K shows the wing layout of the Block 1, but is launched with rocket boosters and appears to be slightly bigger than the original. Most intriguingly, Raytheon hasn't disclosed the non-kinetic method by which the Block 3 sends drone's tail spinning uselessly to the ground or ocean. This has led to much speculation about whether it uses a high-power microwave, HPM, warhead, or an electronic warfare EW to zap its targets. The former works by firing a directed burst of electromagnetic energy that sends a jolt of high-voltage electricity through the target circuits, similar to how a taser works, frying them so fast that the drone simply drops out of the sky. The latter simply jams or spoofs the drone's signals. Certainly, in the footage from the latest tests, the drones tumble out of the sky without visible collision, blast flash, or fragmentation pattern. That's a signature consistent with electromagnetic electronic defeat rather than a proximity warhead, which would be the next most likely option. The Block 3 offers two highly compelling advantages as an anti-swarm countermeasure. Firstly, its ability to take down multiple drones at once completely rebalances the cost-effectiveness equation. It could even reverse it in situations where down drones might fall on populated areas, critical infrastructure, or friendly troop positions. The fact that they don't explode when hit should also help minimize collateral damage, as evidenced in Ukraine, where debris from down drones can be as destructive as direct hits. Secondly, and crucially, it can be recovered and reused. From a battlefield commander's perspective, a recoverable non-kinetic interceptor changes how a defended unit can pace its engagement. Instead of firing one missile per drone until the launcher is empty, a loitering interceptor can be positioned on likely incoming routes, cued by radar, tasked to disrupt or disable multiple threats, and then return for rapid turnaround. Raytheon has also highlighted recent upgrades that improve launch speed, range, and high-altitude performance across the Coyote line to keep pace with heavier UVs carrying larger payloads and flying longer profiles. The company has also claimed a 50% reduction in recovery to return to flight timelines for the 3NK. If replicated in field conditions, that would directly translate into a higher sustained defensive tempo during repeated attack waves. In addition, the Block 3 can also act as a node in the Forward Area Air Defense Command and Control Network. As noted earlier, it can also be worked with other Coyotes, which can then autonomously divide up targets and decide how to engage them most efficiently without the need for a human operator. It can even configure the attack field to take on several incoming targets simultaneously. Add it all up, and the Coyote can loiter and attack for the cost of its fuel and battery refurbishment without sacrificing a valuable airframe and sensor suite after each engagement. For its part, even before these latest successful tests, the Army clearly seems enthused by the potential of the Coyote system. In October 2025, the U.S. Department of War announced a contract valued at nearly $5 billion for Coyote interceptors, with deliveries running through 2033. At this point, the Block 3 and K offers a truly unique value proposition. Raytheon's counter-U.S. directed energy weapons and HPM platforms are designed to disable drones via electromagnetic pulses, similar in effect to the Block 3 and K's non-kinetic payload. However, these are mounted systems, not interceptor drones. The U.S. Army's DM-SHORE, short for Directed Energy Mobile Short-Range Air Defense, also integrates laser and HPM technologies to disable drones without explosive warheads, but it cannot loiter like the Block 3 and K. There are also a growing number of interceptor drones being developed in and for Ukraine, but most of these are either purely kinetic, bringing down drones by smashing into them, or include an explosive warhead. Most of these don't have the ability to loiter and are not reusable. Laser-based systems like the UK's Dragon Fire hold the promise of bringing down drone swarms for a cost of just $10 a shot, but they're also ground-based and have limited range and ceiling compared to the Block 3 and K. Take a look at our recent video about the Dragon Fire to learn more about this compelling new system. With the US's primary adversaries, China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, all actively developing drone swarm technology, the Coyote Block 3 and K could be the ultimate monkey wrench in the works, a smart, cost-effective, and reusable way to deal with multiple drones at once, and then come back for more. With Endural's Roadrunner M and other innovative anti-drone systems also seemingly being implemented at scale, we'll be keeping a close eye on developments in this space. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to keep your finger on the pulse. Thanks for watching.